God has done 99% and we have 1% left to finish. That is so totally false. The Lord did it all. Whatever we do doesn't amount to anything.
I must first acknowledge that I really cannot save myself, that no matter what I do, I'm going to fall far short of the perfection that God would expect. But
That's what I have a problem with. And I'm sure a lot of other people may have a problem with this issue. If you think of it just in a theological standpoint, or even just psychologically straightforward, that this God would expect of you something that's unattainable. That just doesn't sound like that's feasible. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if we were Adam and Eve and we hadn't eaten of the apple, we'd be stupid and not even know right from wrong, and somehow that would have made us okay. So it's almost like he wanted us retarded, and then the fact that we weren't retarded makes us sinners. I mean, you would think of a retarded person as not really knowing right from wrong, that we would have been innocent like lambs, like deer, not knowing right from wrong, just going and doing. That apparently we were supposed to stay caveman ugh, and at the point that we start to get smart, that brings about sin, because you know right from wrong, and now you've done something that's wrong. Before you wouldn't have known right and wrong. So, well, that sounds like it's within me. That doesn't sound like it's something that's within you. That sounds like something that's within me, and that I would have to wrestle with, not that you would have to wrestle with. But the real problem that I have is that it describes, this lady here used to be a nun, and she has left Catholicism. And why did she leave? Well, there's a lot of reasons she goes into in this leaving, but she wants to let you know here that she thinks that no matter what she does, that she's going to fall short of what God would expect of somebody. And that's the statement that you would get out of most people. If I said that to most people, they'd be like, yeah. Well, listen, that's because you believe in a divine creature that couldn't make a mistake, right? I mean, that's it. Okay, well, he knew he made a mistake then, because he didn't start us off in that position. And then he allowed his rules to be so strong that it screwed up our ability actually to be saved until Jesus Christ. I mean, just think of that logically. Does that make any sense to you? Is there any possibility that just God would have made something so inferior? I told my mom whenever I was 7 years old that we weren't God's people, because I watched a space video and things like that and saw how perfect the universe was, and then I looked at how fucked up all these people are, and we are as a people, and how we don't have it together. And I'm like, Mom, I don't wanna bust your bubble, but I don't think we're God's people. And she said, what? And I said, yeah, I don't think we're God's people. We're not perfect enough. The God I'm thinking of would have made something a whole lot better, and he wouldn't have made up some rules that by some little trick would have got you in something that screwed up everybody till the end of time. I mean, that just doesn't sound like that's really proper and feasible. My dad just sat forward and looked over his glasses at me and just kind of gave me a funny look, but it still goes to that point. I didn't think so either, people. Okay, I didn't think that, we're not God's people. Well, listen, we're not. The God, the creator of all, didn't create us to be God and to be as holy as God. He didn't want us. Now, listen, we're supposed to end up getting there, right? People, a lot of religions, a lot of people listening now are going to know this idea of ascension. And so we're supposed to be getting there. And whether we do it to, being rebirthed over and over again and resurrected ourselves, or if we don't just do something, that makes us get there in the afterlife and penance and things like that, or if there's nothing and then there's heaven because you did do good enough and you have to weigh out a scale of 50-50, or whatever it may be that you have to do at the end of this. I think that Hebrews 10:18 says that Jesus has paid for all sins now. That you're, as long as you, that doesn't mean you can go around just killing people, kill, and then you get shot, and then boom. Well, you know what? When that person goes, he's going to be judged. He's going to be judged just like you are. And it sounds unfair because you're like, this dude doesn't even get in the line. No, get in the line. This guy gets judged. You have no idea the circumstances of him shooting people or what goes on. He could have been told by God to take out all 7 of one of those people because they were all going to be part of something terrible. Or they could have been, there could be a lot of reasons for it, and I'm not trying to make rationales for someone killing someone else at all during this, okay. So there clearly could be cases where things like that are going on, that it isn't even their generation that's going to do it, but they're going to, if they're not stopped right now, they're going to have a kid, and that kid's going to do something wrong that screws up everything. And it may be something trivial like a butterfly bats its wings in Brazil and makes it rain in Argentina, but that ends up causing a flood that causes this, it causes that, and so God stops it. Whatever you want to do to make it okay in your mind, I guess that's the way it goes down. The odd thing here is that all these people, including, us and everyone that's listening here, all going off the same religion and all discussing the same religion that was really only for these Hebrew people that were running around in a desert living in tents and didn't even have a hometown at all. When everybody else had civilization and everything, they were nomadic gypsies, and they finally ended up killing off people and stealing their stuff enough to attain a land. And that's where we get this from. It's truly the story in its nutshell essence if you look at it from outside. And now there's all this religious dogma brought about with it from all these people. And well, like this guy here, Martin Luther, he's a Protestant, so he made his own little reform. There's all these reformists that come out of the Catholic Church because they don't like the doctrines that are made from it, and it's made, I think somebody said there's over 500 different sects of churches in the world today, counting everyone else's. That's just insane that we have that much separation instead of unity. Really.